One more thing, if you don't mind. I'm interested in, and if you will forgive the pun, I'm interested in talking to you about the impact of warfare, particularly in the Middle East, on commercial real estate as it pertains, drilling down on, that's the pun, on oil. You know, I, of course, immediately sprang into action and bought oil stock that day, which has now gone down. Right, I was behind the curve. And you actually said that there was very little, because of course oil drives the economy, right? If oil and gas prices go up, and it kind of has this psychological, this behavioral, economic impact as well on how people react if they're spending more in their gas tank, etc. But you mentioned that there was likely to be limited impact on oil. Yet my thought was that if they shut down the Straits of Hormuz, even though Iran may only produce 5%, doesn't 25% of the world's oil go through? And so what's the impact actually, do you suppose, if oil prices were to spike? How would that impact, again, commercial real estate, and in what way, if at all?
Well, so Adam, you asked a question where there could be so many ways in which that particular oil price spike could kind of come home, so to speak. So, you know, there could be a brief disruption, a brief spike, and that could be, oh, I see you have a friend there.
Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. I interrupted myself. Looks like a very nice friend.
He is a very nice friend. Yeah, I think he wants to go out. He's going to have to wait.
Okay. So you know, we live in a world where the dependency on oil remains, but it is not what it was. And there's been some dimension of diversification that should be helpful in a sort of cataclysmic event. We live in a world where there can be increased pumping from the Saudis, or from North America, or from Russia, or from Venezuela, or somewhere else in the event of cutbacks from the Middle East and the Straits of Hormuz. We live in a world where I would imagine quickly, to the extent that there were attacks in the Straits, there would be rather severe implications for those undertaking those attacks. So I'm not sure that those attacks in the form of material attacks would be ongoing for an extended period of time. They may be perpetrated over a week or two or something like that, but there would be implications certainly for those attacks. Now, if it were back in the day, let's take back in the day. Back in the day, for your purpose, I believe, in asking this question, is 1973.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Is the formation of OPEC,
right?
The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries,
right?
And the creation of an oil cartel, which then jacked up prices by 2 or 3 times and resulted in significant gas scarcity, lines outside of gas stations in the United States and around the world, and what we call a cost side price shock to the US economy, to Japan, and to other major nations around the world. As, for example, take Japan. The OPEC event was extremely costly in Japan. They have no access to petroleum other than through imports. The imports skyrocketed. They brought import-related price inflation. They brought a tightening of monetary policy, higher interest rates, and a slower Japanese economy simply because of the magnitude of the oil price shock. That's kind of the extreme scenario that you're referring to here. And my guess is that we're nothing close to that here again, like just not even anywhere close.
Really?
But Could there be a week or two of excitement in the Persian Gulf? Without question. Could there be damage on all sides to oil infrastructure production? Without question. Could we, in an extreme case, take out Basra, which is the Iranian oil producing facility? Without question. What's the issue with Basra? Well, we already have major sanctions on Iranian oil exports, and a lot of what they do exporting is absolutely under the table, with tankers that bear weird flags and oil that gets transferred at night, below the radar screen, literally. So it's not clear, again, in terms of getting to materiality here, the example that we gave of an oil price shock that is of sufficient magnitude or durability that it relates to a higher interest rates, monetary policy that pertains there too, that because of higher inflation and ultimately slower economic activity, I don't see us being there.